Dear students of class 9 home science, today we will learn chapter 6 from your home science book. The topic is growth and development of child. You all know that growth and development of child is very important for a person's life, and in this chapter you can learn so many interesting things, and you will also enjoy of going through these slides. In these slides I have put some pictures which I take from Google Image. That's why I want to acknowledge Google Image. What we learn from this chapter, actually we will learn the characteristics of growth and development, steps of development, developmental tasks of different stages, and heredity and environmental issues. Now the first lesson, idea of growth and development. Now what is growth actually? Growth is a quantitative process, and it basically with the increase in height and weight. In these slides you see that the baby is gradually increase his height and also increase his weight, and these all are the examples of growth. So in definition, what is growth? Growth is a quantitative process. Whenever any part or whole of the body grows and changes in shape, it is defined as growth. And as I told you earlier, height and weight are the examples of growth. Now the development. Development is typically the experience and the maturity of a child. If we go to before that, we see that the right after we see some. Let's talk about some examples. Like right after birth, we see that the child can play with his own hand, but within 5 years he or she can draw with his own hand, and within 10 years he can throw balls skillfully. That means there is not only the increases of height and weight, but also the increases of maturity and experiences, and these are called a qualitative change, that is development. So development is a complicated and continuous process. Maturity and experience are the drivers for changes in development. So development basically triggers, or the drivers are maturity and experience. Now these are the comparison between the growth and development. You see, growth is a quantitative change, that means you can easily count it, but the development is a qualitative change. In number 2, changes in physical size and shape are defined as growth, and where development is changes in behavior, skills, and abilities, which you can not see in your own eyes, but you can feel or you can observe it by watching their performances. In number 3, growth takes place in human life up to a certain point, whether development continues till death. And another most important comparison is that growth has an upward trend, but development is sometimes upward and sometimes downward trend. Like here it is said that development is upward in the beginning of life, slows down in the middle, and gravitates down, and then gravitates downward at an old age. Okay, now we will talk about the areas of development. Basically there are different types of areas, and first of all, physical development. It's all consists of our body's shape and size of different parts of the body, weight, height, etc. And the graduation of increasing weight or height basically represents the good physical health of the children. Now the intelligence development, these are some attributes like paying attention, trying to understand a subject, memorization, factual thinking, creative thinking, problem solving. These are the intelligence development of children. Motor development, basically the performance of hand and foot, the activities of hand and foot, and the movements of hand and foot. Right after birth we see that after gradually a child can able to stand, sit, walk, run, etc. These are the motor development where the hand and foot are movement and perform. Development, as we all know that the children's first language is crying, and after that they start bubbling and makes sentences, uh, we, which you can see in this table. uh, they can take it will take 24 to 30 months to make a structured sentence. And you know that language is very important communication skill, and it's very important for a child to learn correctly how to communicate, how to being use the proper vocabulary. Now the emotional development. Do you know what does emotion mean? Emotion actually our expressions of behavior. So and the development actually refers to the ability to control the emotion. And before that, the children must know how to react, how to respond in mm, a proper given situation. In some, for example, they have to smile when they are happy, cry when they are sad. These are the perfect reaction or responses in a when there is a given situation, and they have to uh, give feedback. So this is called emotional development. And sometimes anger, fear, happiness, sadness, these um, helps the child to communicate to their parents and others what they actually required. Now the social development. Social development means how to interact with others. That is called the socialization process. And you know that when the child start going to school, actually their socialization process start in here in school, and they try to adjust with their classmates, playmates, teachers, and lessons and the environment also. And they also learn some rules and regulations which is provided by the society and also our religion, that how to help others, how to cooperate, how to show kindness, the sense of responsibility, sense of respect. Everything is also the part of social development. And finally, the moral development basically how the child actually distinct what is right or wrong, good or bad, distinct to um, and they can understand the values, the just the truth, the codes of life which is given by the society, which is given by our religion. that that is our moral development. Now listen to the stages of development. And you know that every child has been passed some gradually past some stages, and finally they can go older. And here is the lifespan of a human being, which are divided into different stages like neonatal, prenatal, baby and toddler, early childhood, middle childhood, adolescence, early adulthood, late adulthood, middle age, and finally old age. These are the divisions or stages, different stages of human life. Prenatal period. This period starts from the beginning of the life until birth. So this the whole time of pregnancy, the when the baby start their human journey from one cell that is called zygote to become a full human child. You can see the picture how the zygote formed, and finally it um, it ends its journey as a full human child. Now the neonatal period, which starts from 0 to 2 weeks, very short period of time, and in this time the child is just as a newborn child, he or she has to faces so many challenges like in the new environment, new thing, new types of new way of breathing actually, because during mother's womb the neonatal breathe through their placenta, but in now he has to breathe with his lung. They have the human bodies start functioning, and in this neonatal time we see that the normal the babies actually sleep 20 to 22 hours, and they just eat bread and then excrete stools, and then again they sleep. And this is the normal phenomenon, the normal daily life for a neonatal period. um, the normal weight of the neonatal should be 2 to 3 kg. This is neonatal period. Now the babyhood and toddler, that this duration is a very longer period, that means 2 weeks to 2 years. And these in these days, you see that the child has to learn so many things, learn to sit, walk, talk, everything. So it's very crucial moment, experience for a children, for a baby. These are the called this period, 2 years, after 2 years period, called babyhood or toddlerhood. The first year is called babyhood and the second year is called toddlerhood. Now the early childhood starts from 2 years to 6 years, and you know that in this time the child become tall and thin, their muscle start growing, and they are very much active by playing, running, climbing, catching things, etc. And they also do some works for themselves, like eating, dressing, cleaning, etc. by themselves. And what we see that they try to in this group they try to make some relationship with their peer groups, that means the same age children. And they start to they have huge questions, they ask many questions towards their parents, and they have very uh, thousands of queries, and they also try to imitate others, their parents and people surrounding them. These are the time which I called early childhood. Then the middle childhood starts from the age of 6 to 11 years, and in this time the most important thing to notice is that the children start going to school formally, and they start to make groups. They try to involve in sports, and also wants to show their skills in different areas of development, and this is called middle childhood. Okay. Then adolescence period, which started from 11 to 18 years, and this is actually the time to proceed to adulthood. And during this time, there is huge rapid growth occur in adolescence period, and there is a we can see that their physical development, mental, social, and emotional, all kinds of development has a very rapid, fast growth of development. And in this period, the most important crucial things is that they want independence very eagerly, number one. And number two is they have some own ideas, own identity. They want to develop themselves by using with their own set of goals, own values, own, and their philosophy of life started in this period of time. And sometimes the adolescents also fall in some identity crisis, but most of the time the adolescents are quite okay, and they also try to reach their own goal. They want to set their own goals and values, and they start stepping in their journey. Early adulthood, which is started from the age of 18 to 25 years, and in this time they have to have perform different types of responsibility in their life, because in one hand they have to take preparation for their profession, and also in the other hand they have to select their life partner, they form family, and they have to take different types of social and family responsibility. And late adulthood is the continuations of early adulthood period, because what they did in early adulthood, that is, and they have to maintain this in their later life, that means in late adulthood they take responsibility as parents. They have to more conscious about their family, their job, more responsibilities, more social duties, and also some other issues, and they have become very busy with these important things like politics and surrounding environment, what is going on. Middle-aged people started from 40 to 65 years, and this is the mid time of adulthood to old age, and this is the age of success in working place or giving leadership. So we have observed that there are some physical changes have happened in during middle age, like gain weight, gray hair, wrinkles in skin, pain in the joints of hands and legs. These are the some regenerative degenerative process occur, because their cells become decaying, and they start complaining of their physical problems. And old age begins from the age of 65, and it ends until death. And this period is the last stage of human development, because old age is the beginning of decay. During this period, the physical and mental conditions deteriorate continuously. The strength to do work decreases. Elderly people, they are the senior citizen of any country. Um, so they have lost some of their creativity, they have lost some of their activity level due to their old age regenerative changes. Sometimes frustration, apathy about life, fear of death, that can be faced during old age. Sometimes some feeling of satisfaction also comes in this old age. So this is all. Now lesson 3, we see that in each and every stages there are some developmental tasks, um, and that we learn in this lesson. Uh, and if we want know that developmental task of different stages of life, we can easily know and what is we can easily understand and behave properly, and the parents can also guide their children, and they can also observe their children very carefully. Development thus gives the pre-preparation and inspiration to behave according to social expectations, so it becomes easy to adjust in each stage of development. So, if we see that the development task of babyhood and early childhood, learning to walk, learning to take solid food, learning to speak, learning to control bowel movement, that means excrete the stool and urine things, acquire physical skills, learn to distinguish between right and wrong. These are the developmental tasks of babyhood and early childhood. And during middle childhood, the main important focus is observed that the children behave properly with the peers, and peer pressure is a very important thing in this during this period of time. They learn different types of skills, physical or mental skills. They also learn some social rules according to sex, and learn the basic techniques of reading and counting. And they also have developed some kinds of concept in their life, like time concept, distance concept, weight concept, everything. And we can also see that in the most important developmental task of middle childhood is to that they start their thinking capability, they start their thinking quality. Okay, adolescence is a very important time for a person's life, and in the development tasks of adolescence are also very important. And in this time, they learn to behave maturely with their peer groups, whether it is female or male. They also emotionally dependency decreases from parents to others, and they start their journey with their own self. They know they want to know their identity. They show some kinds of interest in on their own skills, and they also taking responsibilities of social behavior. And morality is also very important developmental task during adolescence. Now the chapter lesson 4 and 5, heredity and environment. There is so many research happening. The research occurred, research has been done based on heredity and environment. Actually, what is heredity? Heredity means the characteristics of that child get from their parents. That is called heredity, and it is influenced by DNA. The passing on of physical or mental characteristics genetically from one generation to another generation. Okay, heredity started from mother's womb. After fertilization of sperm and ovum, it becomes one cell or zygote. The three main phases of zygotes are cell wall, protoplasm, and nucleus. Nucleus is the center of chromosome. The zygote has 23 pairs or 46 chromosomes. Each of pair, one comes from mother and another from father. From 23 pairs of chromosomes, 22 pairs of chromosomes are same in boys and girls, and they are also called autosame. The rest one pair in boys and girls is different, which determines whether the child will be a boy or a girl. This 23rd pair of chromosome is sex chromosome. The 22 pairs of chromosome which transmitted different inherited characteristics among children. Okay, the sex determinant chromosome which comes from mother is always XX type chromosome, whereas the sex determinant chromosome which comes from father is XY type chromosome. So you can easily understand that the responsibility goes to father for the birth of a baby boy. Here is a sequence. You can easily understand the set of chromosomes to the child, and this set can contain a chromosome from both of the parents' two sets, and the only rule is that the child must receive exactly one of each chromosome. Okay, now genes. These are the genes. Um, there are many genes in each of the chromosome. The genes look like blister and decorated like twisted chain. Each of the chromosome has 40,000 to 1 lakh genes. These genes are the carrier and transmitted in human child and other animals. The genes consist of chemical properties like DNA, that means deoxyribonucleic acid. Size of DNA is long and looks twisted chain. DNA transmitted all type of chemical signals which makes a full human. Let's see, this is the gene. Okay, we can see huge differences among the children are from same parents, right? But what about the twins? Yeah, it's very interesting. Twins are different, two types. One is identical twins, and another is same fraternal twins. And then the identical twins actually, when one zygote breaks into two zygote, then the twin are of same sex and their characteristics are also same. They are identical twin. In the case of fraternal twin, more than one ovum is fertilized by more than one sperm. In many times, it is found that when more than one ovum is matured and more than one sperm is fertilized and form zygotes by more than one ovum, this type of twin may be two boys or two girls, or one boy or one girl. If zygote are more than two, then the number of child is more than two. In fraternal twin, characteristics of each child are not similar. Their characteristics become like normal siblings. Only differences is that siblings are born 1 year after or more. Fraternal twin are born in same day. It is a very important factor in a person's life, especially in the child's life. The prenatal state environment basically depends on the mother's physical and mental health, and postnatal environment begins after the birth. And in that time, family, educational institution, playmates, neighbors, relative, native culture, economic condition, everything is incorporated in social environment, which has a great impact on children's life. And if a child grows within their very loving environment with correct guiding, love and affections of family members, we can say that the child's proper development is possible. But if a grow with deprivation of love and affection from parents, negligence, excessive control, impediment, etc., that can definitely hinder the development of a child. In this slide, we can see what is the impact of heredity and environment. So both are equally important, because if a child has some limitations but he didn't get the correct environment, his development can be hindered. At the same time, if the child born with more intelligence, but if he doesn't get the proper environment, he cannot bloom his intelligence. That means heredity and environment both are equally important for a child's life, and that will determine the development of a child. And so that's all about the child growth and development chapter. I hope you all understand this. So I can give you a task, that heredity and environment, which one is more important in the development of a child? Just justify it with examples in favor of your answer. Write it down in your copies and try to submit me. Okay, thank you all for that's all about the child's growth and development chapter. I hope you all understand. Thank you.